She was just a janitor, unseen, mopping hospital floors long after the world had gone to sleep. But one night, she heard a little boy whisper, "What if I don't wake up?" And in that moment, she did something no one expected. She reached into her pocket and gave him the only thing she had left of her own child, a toy, worn, faded, and filled with memories of love and loss. What she didn't know was that the boy's father, a powerful doctor, was standing in the hallway, watching everything. What happened next changed everything in ways no one had seen coming. Please listen until the end to know what happened, and please subscribe to our channel. Please also let us know which country you're listening from. The pediatric wing of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis was quiet that night. Fluorescent lights buzzed softly overhead, and the walls carried the faint scent of antiseptic and lavender hand soap. Room 217, however, wasn't asleep. 7-year-old Noah Bennett sat upright in bed, his small fingers clenched tightly around the sheets. He stared at the window, breathing in short, panicked bursts. His voice cracked as he whispered to the empty room, "What if I go to sleep and I don't wake up?" He was alone. His father, Dr. Julian Bennett, one of the hospital's top neurologists, had been called away for an emergency consult across town. The timing couldn't have been worse. Noah was scheduled for a risky bone marrow transplant in the morning, a procedure that frightened him more than he let on. What Noah didn't know was that someone had been listening. Out in the hallway, Camila Rivera, a 26-year-old janitor on the night shift, paused with her mop. She hadn't meant to overhear. She was just passing through, like she did every night, blending into the background like she always had. But something about that voice, that tremble, it hit her like a punch to the chest. Without thinking, she pushed the mop aside and stepped into the room. Noah looked up, startled. She gave him a soft smile. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked gently. He shook his head, blinking back tears. "I don't want to go to sleep. What if I don't wake up?" Camila hesitated for a moment, then did something she hadn't done in years. She reached into the deep front pocket of her scrub top and slowly pulled out a small wooden toy car. Faded red paint chipped along the edges, initials carved into the bottom. "MR. I had a little boy," she said quietly, kneeling beside his bed. "His name was Mateo. He was your age. When he was scared, I used to give him this." Noah's eyes widened as she placed the car in his hands. He said when he held it, he felt brave, like he could race faster than his fear. The child turned the car in his fingers. "Did it work?" Camila's voice softened. "Sometimes. And tonight maybe it will work for you too." Noah lay back down, the car cradled against his chest. His breathing slowed. Within minutes, he was asleep. Camila gently tucked the blanket under his arms. What she didn't know was that someone was watching from the doorway. Julian Bennett, dressed in his lab coat, had returned just in time to see a janitor, a stranger, calming his son in a way he hadn't been able to for weeks. He said nothing, just watched, eyes burning, before turning silently and walking away. The next morning, Noah's surgery went ahead. It was long, tense, but successful. Camila stopped by again during her break. Noah lit up when he saw her. "You're back," he said, smiling. "Of course I am," she replied. "I wanted to make sure my brave racer made it through." The days passed. Camila visited Noah often, sneaking in snacks, telling him silly stories, sometimes even singing softly when his pain got too hard. She never stayed long. She didn't want to overstep, but Noah looked for her like clockwork. Dr. Bennett noticed. He started lingering a little longer during his visits, sometimes catching Camila's stories from the hallway. He began asking her polite questions about how Noah had been feeling, what he'd eaten, if he'd smiled. Camila always answered with honesty, her voice calm and warm. Then one evening, as the ward quieted and the night shift settled in, Julian approached her in the break room. His usual guarded expression was gone. "Thank you," he said simply. Camila looked up, surprised. For what? For staying, for helping him sleep, for everything. There was a silence between them, the kind that only exists between people carrying invisible scars. Julian sat down across from her. "That toy car, it belonged to your son?" Camila nodded. Her hand trembled as she spoke. "Mateo. He died in this hospital 3 years ago. Playground accident. His head hit the wrong way. They brought him here, tried everything, but..." Her voice broke. Julian's face went still. "I didn't know what to do with his things after that. I kept the car, just kept it. Couldn't let it go." Camila paused. "When I saw Noah that night, so scared, so small, he looked just like Mateo. Same eyes, same age. I couldn't leave him." Julian swallowed hard, then said, "My wife, she was hit by a drunk driver. Grocery run. One moment she was on the phone with me. The next, I was raising Noah alone. Their pain hung in the air like fog, quiet, dense, undeniable. But it was also the beginning of something unspoken, a connection." A few days later, Camila found a box waiting for her in the break room. Inside was a perfect replica of Mateo's toy car, handcrafted, with initials etched in silver MR. A note lay underneath. "You lent my son courage when I couldn't. I hope this gives you a little of it back." Julie and Camila held the car close to her chest and cried. Noah was finally well enough to go home. On his last morning, he called Camila into his room. She entered, expecting a goodbye hug. Instead, he reached into his suitcase and pulled out the original toy car, the one she'd given him. "I think he wants to go back to you," Noah said. "He helped me. Now he wants to help you again." Camila knelt beside him, tears in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "You've taken such good care of him." Weeks passed. The halls of the hospital returned to their usual rhythm. Camila pushing her cart, sweeping floors, greeting nurses with quiet nods. Then one morning, after finishing her shift, Camila checked her email on the cracked screen of her phone. Her eyes scanned the inbox absently until she saw it. A message from a private foundation. A full scholarship had been created in her name. Pediatric nursing, full tuition, books, living stipend, no sender name, no explanation, just a note at the bottom. Her hands trembled. She didn't need a signature. She knew. The following Sunday, she stood on the porch of Julian and Noah's house, modest, sunlit, with flower pots lining the railing. She hesitated before knocking, nervously smoothing down the hem of her dress. When the door opened, it wasn't Julian. It was Noah who flung his arms around her. "Miss Camila, you came!" Inside, the table was set for three. A soft breeze filtered through the curtains, fluttering the corners of cloth napkins folded with care. And there, on the kitchen shelf, sat the red toy car. Cleaned, polished, its paint gleaming softly. Beside it, a small drawing taped to the wall. Stick figures labeled me, Miss Camila, and Mateo with tiny angel wings. All three were holding hands beneath a bright yellow sun. Julian appeared behind her, apron tied around his waist, smile soft and real. "You helped me remember what hope looks like," he said. "And I wanted to give some of that back." That night, they laughed over dinner. Real, belly-deep laughter. Camila felt her guard fall in pieces she hadn't even known she was still holding. Later, as they sat on the couch with dessert, Noah leaned into her side, sleepy-eyed, and whispered, "I think Mateo would like us." Camila wrapped her arms around him, her voice thick with emotion. "I think," she whispered, "he already does." Sometimes the greatest gifts come from people who have the least to give, but give anyway. Sometimes healing begins with a child's tears, and a toy car once held in a mother's broken hands. And sometimes the family we need finds us, not with fanfare, but with quiet love, shared pain, and the courage to stay. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Please let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and thank you for listening to Storyline Narratives.